Last week, I was so excited to get started about talking about menopause and educators that I totally forgot. We're going to spend this week talking about wellness. Why do I even focus on wellness?
I'm recording in a library this week, so forgive the whispering.
Hot flashes, big moves, and zero apologies. This is the Hot Flash Harmony podcast. When someone greets you, do they say, when you hear someone say to you, hey, how are you doing? Do they say, I'm healthy? Or do they say, oh, I'm well? Or you can say, I'm good. However, and typically you're going to hear somebody say, I am well. Because wellness is just you saying, hey, this is how I am doing. This is how I feel. Typically, most hotties are focused on their health, the labs, the diagnosis, what things their doctor says that they need that pill for, whereas wellness is just the overall feeling of how you're doing. It is the overall impact of all of those health metrics into one. So you can say that you're healthy, but are you well? Because there may be a component of your health that is not speaking well to you. So let's talk about health versus wellness. Health is going to be that physical state of what you're doing, how you're feeling. It's the absence of disease, or as some people like to refer to it as dis-ease. Typically, when you address health, you're addressing something that is wrong, as opposed to navigating and being well. Wellness is a multifaceted, multidimensional part of who you are. And why does this matter? Because when you are perimenopausal, when you are menopausal, that is a health metric. But however, we want you to be well, which is a more than just being healthy. Being well speaks to your physical, your spiritual, your social, your emotional, your intellectual, your occupational. Menopause does not have to define wellness. When I have conversations with my hotties, I like to talk about 6 dimensions of wellness. So when we're talking about our wellness wheel, I would move the camera, but I'm not because I'm scared it's going to do something wacky. But up at the top, we have occupational, we have intellectual, physical, spiritual, social, emotional. I deliberately put these in a different order than what I would normally say because I typically say physical, spiritual, social, emotional, intellectual, and occupational. That is how I typically would say it. But I want you to know they can be placed in any order. That physical piece speaks to what it says, your physical nutrition, your sleep, anything that deals with your body. Listen to your body. I have been taking a anti-inflammatory for a health issue. I had to stop taking that anti-inflammatory because I noticed that it was raising my blood pressure. So listen to your body. Know those metrics because we want to be well. And even though my blood pressure was high, I wasn't well. Even though the anti-inflammatory was doing what it was supposed to do, I was not well. All right. Spiritual peace speaks to hotties when they get to this area, this age. They're saying, okay, you know what? I want to learn, who I am, where I belong, what matters to me. Those are those spiritual pieces that speak to the hotties. Get out in nature, pray, meditate, practice yoga, anything that lets you speak to that higher dimensional self of who you are. That's spiritual. I want you to understand that you can be spiritual and not be religious. Again, you can be spiritual and not be religious. I want you to be happy. I want you to get in tune with your, as Cat Williams say, your number one star player. Okay? Socially, the social and emotional wellness piece, I tend to just lump them together. But when you're social, you're able to get out, talk to people. You can gauge your social meter. I know me, when my social meter is worn out, I know it's time for me to cut it off. Cut it, cut it, cut it. You need to cut it. Okay, we're not going to talk about that. But it's the quality of your relationships. That social piece is the quality of the relationships that you have. Do you have friends? Do you not have friends? Do you not have friends because you don't want to have friends? What are your familial relationships like? Are you, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your cousin? Can you all have decent conversations? Are you able to have a good relationship? That speaks to that social piece. Emotional, again, check in with yourself. Why do you feel the way that you do? Who or what has prompted you to feel a certain way? And so, if you're not feeling your best self, what is it that you need to do to help yourself to get to a more emotionally well state? We have people who are running around here who have undiagnosed um, mental health issues, and it could have started because they were not emotionally well at some point in their life and it was never addressed. So we want to make sure that you're able to express yourself healthy in healthy ways to maintain that emotional wellness. And let's talk about intellectual wellness. That's a part where I think a lot of people have just decided, oh, it's not that important. I'm 40, 50, 60, 70. I don't need to read a book. I don't need to be engaged with learning. But yes, you do. Because being curious, being engaged in the process of acquiring and maintaining knowledge helps with your neurotransmitters in your brain. So it is definitely necessary to make sure that you are constantly learning and growing from an intellectual standpoint. Be creative, color, write, um, line dancing, all of that is intellectual because you have to step to the right, step to the left, turn. All of that is intellectual wellness, believe it or not. Learning a new skill like podcasting. Here your girl is. So make sure that as you are maturing and becoming the best hottie that you can be and living your scintillating second half, that you are learning, growing, progressing, feeding those neurotransmitters in your brain. And finally, an overlooked quality of life is your occupational wellness. You get to perimenopause and menopause. You've probably worked your job about 20 years, or you've been in the same line of work for about 20 years. Are you happy? Does that job still give you purpose? Does that line of work still give you purpose? A lot of times, hotties get to this age and they decide to pivot and do something different. They get to this age or this part of their life and say, you know what? I am so smart because you done fed that intellectual piece. And you're like, I can do something different. Do it. Do it. Know that just because you have worked a job for 20, 30 years does not preclude you from doing something else because you have learned skills, capabilities, that emotional wellness piece that allows you to do more than what you're doing. And I'm going to give myself a shameless plug. As a also career consultant, I help women to navigate that changing scenery, help with resume creation, interview skills, even a job search. Because again, I tell people all the time, I worked in K-12 forever and a day. I now work in higher education. You can pivot and change. You can do something else that makes your world feel a little bit better, okay? Wellness is not perfection, it is practice. You have to practice at being well. You have to practice at building yourself up physically, spiritually, socially, emotionally, intellectually, and occupationally. You're not going to wake up today and have it all together. You're just not. So, with that, you have to figure out what it is that makes you well in those pillars. I have a quiz that I do provide to women, and they can see where their areas of strength and weakness is as it relates to their areas of wellness. So if you're interested, just not text, because I don't even know my work phone number, my business number, but here's my email. You can reach out to me at hello at Myra in Motion. That's hello at myrainmotion.com. MyraInmotion, myrainmotion.com. Hello at Myra in Motion. So if you want a copy of that wellness quiz, let me know. I will gladly send it to you. I'm not putting you on any mailing list. I will just literally just send it to you. During that, you will do a wellness audit. Just see where you are, what areas you can improve in. And if you want to then schedule a session with me, please do so. I am here to help. I look forward to helping the hotties. I do. Wellness is available to every woman, regardless to any symptoms you might be having, regardless as to whatever lifestyle you're living. Wellness is yours if you want it. In order for you to obtain and maintain that wellness, that quality of wellness, it's a job. You have to work at it. Again, it's a practice. I want you to start looking at yourself in this season in a different way. You're not looking at your gray hairs. You're not looking at the fact that you have to wear glasses now. You're not looking at the arthritis. You're not looking at the arm fat. You're not looking at the numbers. You're looking at your quality of life and how well you are. Physically, do you like getting up in the morning and being able to move? Do you enjoy the fact that you can connect with nature? Is it that you have the ability to have friends and hang out with friends? And then if you get pissed off at a friend, can you pinpoint where that pissed offness came from? And then address that in a constructive manner. Intellectually, do you have a coloring book and you just decide, hey, I'm going to color today? And that's how you relieve stress. And then occupationally, are you applying for jobs or are you working a job? Are you doing an entrepreneurial endeavor that feeds your soul? Okay? Understand perimenopause and menopause are health metrics, but I really want the hotties to understand. I want you to be well. Okay? All right, so now the next episode is going to be about educators and menopause, perimenopause, all the things. So now, I messed up last week, but I got it together this week. So remember, hotties, stay in motion because you are moving into the best chapter of your life. Hot flashes are temporary. The power is permanent. See you next time.